Satnam, I started teaching Kundalini Yoga about 9 years ago. The one question that keeps popping up, no matter which part of the world I'm teaching in, is stress, anxiety, and depression. More so in India. Somehow we have managed to be infamous about being the suicide capital of the world. What it is that is driving us to suicide, what it is that is driving us to depression in such a big way. I have a cousin brother who was diagnosed with a minor case of depression about 15 years ago. They gave him some medication. And then that some medication became a little bit more medication. Then it became a little bit more medication. Finally, he was having so many medicines for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. A year ago, he was put in a mental asylum. We have to understand what it is that we are doing wrong that is giving rise to this pandemic, far more dangerous than the coronavirus, this pandemic called depression. So I'm going to divide whatever I have to say to you in two videos. The first part is going to be called the Band-Aid video. Whatever I'm going to tell you now, you can start doing it right away. You don't have to think about it. You don't have to analyze it too much. Whatever I'm going to say, you can start following these steps from this very moment that you finish this video. The second part needs a little bit of introspection. You need to go into your soul. You need to understand the psychology and the spirituality of the situation that you might be in right now. So I'm going to start with my favorite subject, food. What it is that you're eating. So I have to share with you the story which a lot of my regular students have heard, that if you want to see a horror film, where do you go? You go to a theater. If I want to see a horror film, where do I need to go? A restaurant. When I see what everyone around me is eating and how they are eating it, just to give you one small example, is every table has got a chilled vodka, a chilled beer, or chilled coke, or some juice, and they're drinking that chilled drink along with your food. According to Ayurveda, that's the biggest crime that you can commit against your body, against your stomach, against your mind. And everyone is doing that. And just one example. The way people combine their food, the way people eat, you can see somebody is of a pitta origin or is vata. You can see them. And they're eating foods which are really poison for them. They are going to lead to cancer. They're going to lead to diabetes. I can see it. And they're eating it. What can you do? So what goes into your stomach defines what happens in your mind. If there is garbage in your stomach, your mind is going to be garbage. If there is sattva here, your mind is going to be sattvic. If there is tamas here, your mind is going to be tamasic. To be really mindful about how respectfully you treat your stomach. What you eat defines you. You are what you eat. The first step you need to take to cure your anxiety, your depression, your stress levels is to be really mindful about the quality of food that you're putting into your stomach. The second thing I'm going to talk to you about is exercise. How difficult it is to take out 20 minutes, half an hour a day for your life, for your health. I mean, for me, my whole morning routine is about 3.5, 4 hours. I wake up at 5, 4:35, and then I do what I have to do, and I finish only by 8:30, 9, sometimes 10. It takes me that much time. But that's important. My health is to me. How important is your health to you? When you exercise, you're releasing hormones in the body that are nourishing the brain. They're nourishing your body, your spirit, your soul gets nourished, your aura becomes stronger. How does anxiety or stress come into the picture then? When you allow your body to rot. You see, in Kundalini Yoga particularly, we have these kriyas, for example, whatever it is, because whatever we do, we believe that when you don't use a particular muscle, it could be this one, it could be this one, it could be whichever muscle you don't use, it starts to rot. It becomes a warehouse of toxic negative emotions, and they build up there. Again, that's how your diseases come into the picture. That's how you get diseases. So when you are moving your whole body constantly, when you're using every muscle in the body constantly, Those toxic negative emotions don't have a place to stay with you. They keep getting released. So whatever you do in your life, make sure that you adopt some form of exercise. I'm not saying do yoga. Just because I'm a yoga teacher doesn't mean I'm going to tell you to do yoga. Play badminton, swim, go for a walk. I like cycling. I started cycling recently and I can't tell you how much I enjoy it. I came back about an hour ago and I was drenched in sweat. It was beautiful. So do whatever you enjoy. Or unless you think you're going to enjoy your stay in the hospital for months on end more, then that's your choice. Not to mention the fact, the depression, the anxiety and the stress that you're going to face with that lack of exercise. The next thing I want to talk to you about is meditation. Meditation is something that you have to understand does not need to be an hour. It doesn't need to be 2 hours. It can be 10 minutes. It's that moment when you are sitting with this mudra, for example, there are many mudras, but supposing you're sitting with this mudra, your spine is straight, your chin is down, the crown of the head is higher than the forehead. And in this position, you just allow your body to reconnect with itself for that 10 minutes. Maybe you might want to build it up to 15, to 20, whatever you want. But even that 10 minutes of that me time for yourself. But what do? Up to the last second before we switch off the light in the night, you're on the phone. And then we check the last message, the last email, the last Instagram likes that you have, and then you switch it off, and then you put off the light and you sleep. Your mind is constantly working. Why will stress not come? Why will you not get stressed? Are you allowing your mind to take a break? You know you need to fast. So once a week, the body needs to fast, where you just eat fruits the whole day. Some people do dry fasting. They don't even have water. Your body needs to fast. Your mind needs to fast. Whatever I do in my life, I make sure that once a year, I go and do my Vipassana. I sit in that 10 days of quiet, peace and meditation the whole day. The kings used to do it. It was a time which was mandatory according to Ayurveda, according to any philosophy given, that time that your body needs to be given out of respect for your body, out of respect for your mind, out of respect for everything that is precious to you, that you need to give that time to yourself. 10 minutes is all that I'm saying you need to start with. How difficult is that? The next subject that is critically important, is probably one of the most important, is sleep. How respectful are you about the time that you need to give to your sleep? What time do you go to sleep? There are people who go to sleep at 3, 4, 5 in the morning. Why? What were you so busy doing? Oh, that Netflix show was amazing. Really? How amazing was it? Amazing enough to destroy your life? Because that's exactly what lack of sleep deprivation does to you. It destroys you. It's the one thing that is destroying all of us. Because nobody gives it enough importance. I go to sleep at 9:30. I go to sleep at 10. 10 is late. Because what it is that what I would do after 9:30 that would be so important, parties don't mean anything to me anymore. Clubbing doesn't mean anything to me anymore. If I do go to a restaurant, I love food, I make sure that as soon as the restaurant gate opens, I'm the first one standing there, which means 6:30 or 7. Luckily, if I'm traveling, if I'm in Europe or something, at 5:30 or 6, I have my dinner at 5:30. You can say, I can't do all this. Okay, suffer. Be in that depression that you're in. Why can't you do it? I'm saying, I have my dinner at 5:30. Why can't you have your dinner at 7:30? 7:30 is doable. But if you say you can't, nothing can save you, because you are eating at 10. You are eating at 10:30. You are eating at 11. You are eating at 11:30. That means you need to give 3 hours of time in between that period before you go to sleep. So which means you're going to sleep at 1 o'clock. It's called the circadian rhythm. The circadian rhythm is so critically important for our life, our aura, our everything. And you are out of that rhythm. How can you be happy? How can you not be stressed? How can you not have depression? So understand the meaning of lifestyle. Understand how critically important sleep is. Make it a discipline to eat on time, sleep on time. Again, I'm repeating, you don't need to eat at 5:30. You don't need to eat at 6. Eat at 7:30. But sleep by 10. By the time you go to sleep, your food should be empty. Adopt that lifestyle. I have so many videos that I have made on lifestyle, on mudras, on all these things. See them. See what helps you to understand more about what you need to learn about lifestyle, about sleeping patterns, about all these things. The last thing I want to share with you today in this video, in the Band-Aid section of the quick fixes for depression and anxiety, is Feng Shui. Now I'm saying Feng Shui as against Vastu because I've tried a lot of Vastu and it never worked for me. And when I'm saying it never worked for me, I'm not saying I called a quack. I called India's best. India's best from Hyderabad, India's best from Kolkata, India's best from Mumbai. Somebody had written books. It never worked for me. And there's one Feng Shui consultant who taught me Feng Shui. There's a video I've made on Feng Shui on my YouTube channel. Please watch it. It's a basic course in Feng Shui. But I can't tell you that when you declutter your house, when you declutter, when you create the space inside the house for things to move around, when there is no dirt everywhere, it's the basic things of Feng Shui. Some people are sleeping and behind the bed, they have a horse. Now you're sleeping and the horse is just galloping all over your head. And then they wake up in the morning, they call me up, I get very bad sleep. I have insomnia. Of course you have insomnia. You have a horse behind your bed. There are people who have red color curtains in their bedroom, red color carpets. There are a lot of people in India have got so much garbage stored under the bed. Books, wood, utensils. The only thing that you're allowed to store under your bed where you sleep is linen. Fresh linen that you keep using, not even linen, some 10-year-old, 15-year-old blanket or something like that. No. Linen which is fresh, which keeps getting changed. That's the only thing you are allowed to store under your bed if you want to or you have to. Understand the basics of Feng Shui. Use them in your life. I promise you, your whole life will change. Follow these basic steps. The next video that we are doing, the part 2 of stress, anxiety and depression, is going to deal with this philosophy and the spirituality of why we get depressed, what it is that we need to do to come out of it. This is a beautiful world we live in. We don't need to be stressed. We don't need to live a life of pain and anxiety. We can be as free as a bird. So until I see you for the next video, Sat Nam.